Well, hey there. Welcome back to Movie Review Mom. Today, the movie I'm reviewing is called Honor Society. This coming of age movie is now available exclusively on Paramount Plus. Because the movie went straight to Paramount Plus, it wasn't given an MPAA rating, but a TV-MA, which stands for mature audiences. The movie rating would probably be a PG-13, but pay attention to my tips for parents section, and I'll give you more scoop on that. The movie is an hour and 37 minutes long, and the movie review mom grade I'm giving it is an A minus. I actually really enjoyed this silly movie. In a nutshell, there's a girl named Honor. She's in high school and she's desperately focused on getting into Harvard once she graduates from high school. Willing to do whatever it takes, Honor concocts a plan to take down her top three competitors until things take a turn when she unexpectedly falls for her biggest competition. The film was written by David A. Goodman and directed by Oren Zegman. It feels like a John Hughes movie, honestly, from the 1980s, and that is a huge compliment. So there were a lot of things that I really liked about this movie. First of all, Angourie Rice is perfect in this role as Honor. The protagonist, she's the protagonist, and the movie itself is very self-aware. She breaks the fourth wall throughout the entire movie in the style of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which is one of my all-time favorite high school movies. So even though her character appears quite cutthroat and conniving even, she's extremely charming and likable, and we can see her heart because we see who she really is. Fans of the popular Netflix TV show Stranger Things will be thrilled to see Gatton Matarazzo in a feature film. He actually is the leading guy in the movie. As always, he's perfect in this role too. His character's name is Michael Dipnicki, which absolutely suits him and sounds like a name from Stranger Things too, doesn't it? He even sings in this movie, and it was good. There are twists in the movie. I love twists. I'm always a sucker for twists. And fans of Doctor Who, the Matt Smith version, as well as The Handmaid's Tale, will love the references to both of those shows on TV. I love this scene they performed from the play at the very end. There's great staging and choreography, and Ben Jackson Walker was absolutely terrific. He sings the song Glorious from that scene in the final credits, and you just hear how glorious his voice is. So talented. I'd never seen him in anything before, and I can't wait to see what he does next. Keep watching during the final rolling credits for more scenes and bloopers. I love bloopers. There should be bloopers after every movie. There's also a really nice soundtrack. Now, with all that praise, there were a few things that I didn't like or thought could have been done better. For example, Mr. Calvin is I don't know if he's the school counselor or the principal of the school, but he's super creepy and totally inappropriate. So, of course, it's supposed to be funny, but I mostly thought it was just really gross. Christopher Mintz-Plasse, known mostly for his role in another high school comedy classic, Superbad, gives an over-the-top performance of this predator at the school. And that's just super gross and icky. I really enjoyed the movie, but I just wish it didn't have all the sexualized humor. I understand they were trying to make it feel like what happens in high schools today. And I get that those things and conversations and words are definitely spoken in high school, but the target audience really is preteens and younger teens. And so they just don't have to be constantly exposed to that content. I know they're going to be exposed in high school, and I know the movie was trying to be realistic. But again, as a mom, it just isn't necessary, and it could have easily been filled with more tasteful humor. Some of the performances by minor characters were a bit off, just not as great. Some awkward, bad acting moments. But overall, the cast did a really good job. Let me give you some tips for parents. As I mentioned, there are a lot of crude conversations and inappropriate humor, including tons of sexually suggestive humor. Two gay teens kiss on screen. There's talk of LGBTQ plus community. Two F-bombs, which is allowed in a PG-13 movie. Once you hit 3, you're in rated R territory. And then the teens and preteens wouldn't have been able to even see this. And then you'll also have to read a bunch of texts, because teens are texting all the time. Man, that made me sound like such a dinosaur saying that. Those teens nowadays. All right, so some of the themes that are illustrated very well are feminism, high school drama, and high school drama, competition, identity, caring for others, getting into Harvard, getting hurt, goals, and focus. So I always write down funny lines and interesting lines, and I have them on my written review at moviereviewmom.com. So run over there, check those out. But I'll share just a couple of them with you right now. So one of the running gags throughout the whole movie is when Honor and her very vapid, shallow friends always say, love you. And then the other ones chime back, mean it. And she says to the audience, they don't mean it. But there is some friendship there. But the movie takes a better look at deeper friendships and what are true friends. And then an interesting line spoken by Anjali Rice, who plays Honor, is when she says, for me, high school means one thing, getting out of high school. Those 4 years are pretty rough on teens. It's all about figuring out who you are, what you believe, and how you fit into the world, isn't it? And so it can be tough on a teen and an emerging young adult to figure those things out. And peer pressure is no joke. Another line that was interesting is when Emma, who's played by Avery Conrad, says, a flyer's like a tweet that ruins the environment. Actually, I should probably put that under the funny line, shouldn't I? And then as they're talking about Twitter and Facebook, Anjali, again, playing Honor, says, what kid uses Facebook anymore? And I get that. Everybody has left Facebook except for the moms and the grandparents who slowly got on when it first came out to figure out what was going on with this whole Facebook thing. Then I'll share just a couple more lines. One is spoken by Zoe Christie, who plays a character named Grace. And she says, men don't have to choose between love and power. Why must a woman? And it's repeated again from a different character in a different scenario, and it adds even more insight. And I thought that that was really good. And then the mom, who is so sweet, finally says, you never give me credit for anything. And I know a lot of moms who feel invisible to their kids. They do everything and it's just expected, and they don't realize all of the things that they do for them, that they're people too, And so I liked the relationship that Honor has with her mom as she's discovering her mom, kind of, or seeing her mom for the first time through different eyes. Okay, and then before we go, let me give you a couple of recommendations for a couple of movies that I instantly thought of as I was watching this one. One is sort of the classic high school peer pressure girls drama called Mean Girls. Now, it's getting fairly old, but it has sadly stood the test of time. There are still mean girls in high school and other girls who are invisible and trying to find their place in the world. It's a comedy, dramedy. It's a classic. And then another one is called Metal Lords. And I recently did a review on that one, and I really got a kick out of it. It shows these metalheads in high school and how, they are very ostracized and they're trying to figure out where they fit in and who are true friends and who are not. And anyway, you might want to check that one. And then another movie that I thought of is called Persuasion. Now, it's also new, but it's not about high school. It's not about mean girls, but it is a really good example of breaking that fourth wall as a character talks to the audience about what she's experiencing in society, which happens to be the Regency period in England. Anyway, just thought I'd throw that out because it's a fairly new movie. And some Jane Austen fans are hating it because it veers so far from the original Jane Austen book. But the younger audiences are actually reacting positively to it because it speaks to a more modern mindset, maybe even the language, the costuming. It's still in that time period, but kind of a more modern sensibility. All right, that's it. I hope that if you watch this movie that you enjoy it as much as I did. Thank you so much for all of your support. Be sure and run over to Instagram and Facebook. I know, what kid goes on Facebook? We have a Facebook group called Movie Review Mom. I'm also on Twitter, and I mean, all of the social media sites. Anyway, go visit me and say hi. Thank you again so much. Have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.